ECAT's production of OA Sports are provided by RevT, we simplify technology for better. Easton Lions Club, Morris Insurance, Doug King Bills Incorporated. ECAT would like to thank all the sponsors for the support of producing OA Sports.
We're live from the corner of Park Street and Sheridan, and it's a Davenport Division showdown as your Oliver Ames Tigers play host to the visiting Foxboro Warriors. Hello, everyone. I'm Adam Rivero back with play-by-play today for this Hawk League matchup between OA and Foxboro, as each team is desperate to claw up the standings in this pivotal contest. First pitch is about to commence here in just a moment, and before it does, we want to give you the starting lineups for this Hawk League game. And starting lineups are brought to you by RevT, audio video technology, simplified for better. To learn more, visit rev-t.com. Foxboro comes in this afternoon with an 8-5 record, and leading off today, number 12, the catcher, Mike Marcasella. Batting number 2, first baseman, Tom Watts. Number 3, shortstop, Ryan O'Leary. The center fielder, Ben Angelini, is batting cleanup today. Number 5, right fielder, Aiden Stowe. Number 6, third baseman, Colin Tremble. In the 7th spot, left fielder, Henry Griffin. Batting DH is Anthony Rego at the 8th spot. And then batting at the bottom of the order is pitcher Nolan Gordon. And also, second base today will be Harrison Lamson, who is not in the batting lineup. For your Tigers today, we have leading off center fielder Harrison Fitzpatrick. In the 2 spot, Tommy Regan playing short today. DH Tom Curzoli is the third hitter today. Cleanup Drew Hall catching. Number 5, Colin Costello out in right this afternoon. Number 6, Henry Burr in first base today. 7, left fielder A.J. Baroncelli. Number 8, Patrick DeLowry is at third base. And then at the bottom of the order for the Tigers, second baseman Cade Fowler. The Tigers come in this afternoon with a 5-9 record, and they had quite an interesting week last week, and we'll talk to you about it more here in just a moment. But we're ready to play ball here at Frothingham Park, and I'm glad that you're here to join us on our ECAT's Essentials channel, whether you're watching live or you're watching later on social media, on your television, iPad, phone, telegraph, carrier pigeon, however you are watching today. We are glad to have you along for the ride. And as I mentioned, this is going to be a pivotal matchup for both teams, and it's going to be interesting this afternoon. So stick with us for the next couple hours for some great OA Tigers action. Ryan Johnson with the start this afternoon, his first pitch in there for a strike as Mike Marcasella swings right through it. 0-1 to Marcasella. Foul tip for strike 2. Foxboro comes in this afternoon with a lineup of 5 seniors and 5 juniors when you include that designated hitter. So pretty balanced lineup. They actually have 5 captains, 5 senior captains, and an interesting setup there to have so many captains on the team, but all of their seniors who are starting today are team captains, including Marcasella. A little bit low for a ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Again, Ryan Johnson has the start this afternoon for Oliver Ames and had some great success so far this year. We're looking for the same today for the Tigers. Popped up and out of play. 1-2 is still the count. Oliver Ames, again, as I mentioned, had an interesting week last week, certainly with the weather wreaking havoc to the schedule, as well as playing a part in one of the games. Just outside, 2-2. Oliver Ames played Stoughton last week and were able to apply the mercy rule upon them, 11-1, in a very rainy, very miserable contest. To the shortstop, who throws to first, to Henry Burr, who makes the out for out number 1. Fowler to Burr connects for out number 1, and Tom Watts, also one of the captains for Foxboro, now comes up as the number 2 hitter. Watts is one of their pitchers. He is not pitching today. He's playing first base. It's a big part of their offensive lineup. He was a HockomockSports.com first-team selection last year and hit for an average of .397. 27 hits and 6 RBI. But he's down in the count now, 0-1. Johnson delivers. Strike 2 called. If you're just joining us, the game has just commenced. 1 out for Foxboro here in the top of the first. Here's the pitch. Outside for a ball, but Johnson's got some good movement on his pitches so far this afternoon. Bodes well. 1-2, 1 out. Swings right through it, a mighty cut. And that is his first punch out of the afternoon. And it's 2 up and 2 down with the shortstop, Ryan O'Leary, stepping up to the plate. Get more of an unusual lineup when the first 4 hitters on your team are all captains for the team, but all 4 are seniors, all 4 are captains, including Ryan O'Leary. Here's a pitch. High and about 2 feet away from where we are here at the broadcast position, but that is a very long ball for a count of 1-0. Johnson with the pitch. Right there in the bottom part of the zone, 1-1. So Oliver Ames won on Monday, 11-1. Had a game on Wednesday against Taunton that was rescheduled to Thursday, which was an absolute heartbreaker. They lost 2-1. No shame in that whatsoever. Taunton is the juggernaut right now of the Hawk, and Oliver Ames took them to the very edge. Fouled off, and will it be in play? Is it catchable? And it is for out number 3 as Baroncelli nabs it, and that will be it for Foxboro here in the top of the first with 3 up and 3 down, and Oliver Ames will be up in just a moment. We want to give you some of the matches that will be taking place this afternoon if you are an Oliver Ames Tigers fan. There are other baseball teams who are playing this afternoon. Froshmore boys are playing at Mansfield. They just started a few moments ago, as well as JV. And JV boys will be playing at Foxboro as well, actually playing home against Foxboro. 3:45 start as well for varsity girls softball, and that is at Foxboro. 3:45 start for varsity lacrosse, and they are playing against Mansfield here at home. 3:45 start for varsity boys tennis, and they are at Foxboro this afternoon. At 5 o'clock, varsity girls tennis will be playing Foxboro here at home. And then at 5:30, JV girls lacrosse is at Mansfield High. And then 7 o'clock tonight, under the lights, varsity girls lacrosse will be playing at Mansfield High. And that is your lineup of matches this afternoon for the Tigers. As I was mentioning just a few moments ago, the game against Taunton on Thursday was a 2-1 final with Taunton winning. However, at the very end of the game, bottom of the 7th, Oliver Ames had the tying run on third, the winning run on first. However, were not able to capitalize. And you consider the fact that Taunton just is an absolute beast of a team in the Hawk this year. As far as the standings this up to this point this year, they've only lost 1 contest out of 11 in the Hawk. They're 12-3 overall. They've scored 99 runs and only given up 29. Absolutely incredible statistics. And so the fact that Oliver Ames was able to stay toe-to-toe with them and only lose 2-1 and really be on the cusp of a victory there in the bottom of the 7th, almost with that walk-off that we all love to be able to see. Oliver Ames can hold their head up high. And then Friday there was a contest scheduled against Mansfield, but of course as it rained pretty much cats and dogs all week, there was none, and that's going to be rescheduled to the end of the season. But if we have learned anything about these Tigers, this 2025 iteration of your Oliver Ames Tigers boys baseball team, the fact is that this group, this core group that they have, has grown so much from last year. And I can believe just from what I have seen here in the home games that we've been able to broadcast that they can stand against anybody. And this game against Foxboro is going to be a pivotal one as Harrison Fitzpatrick steps up, the leadoff hitter, as usual for the Tigers, and the center fielder. And he's up against Nolan Gordon. Strike one is called. Nolan Gordon is one of their more experienced pitchers. To be lined out softly to the second baseman, Harrison Lamson, for out number one. Tommy Regan is up next and playing short this afternoon. Foxboro comes into Frothingham this afternoon having won their last three contests in a row. So a three-game win streak, beating Milford, Sharon, and Martha's Vineyard. 8-5 overall on the season. However, that record is a little bit deceptive. Ball two is called. Foxboro has a strength of schedule out of conference, out of league, has been pretty weak thus far. Strike one rather, excuse me. So in conference, Foxboro is actually 4-5, even though they are 8-5 overall. Check swing, 3-1. And so while you hear that 8-5 overall record, it may give you an idea that may not quite be the abilities of this team against like opponents, as that ball was inside and low, but called for strike two. A full count, 3-2, one out to Tommy Regan. Gordon delivers. Fouled off and out of play behind the shed. And Regan stays alive for another pitch. Again, the count is 3-2, one out, no one on. Bottom of the first. Gordon with the pitch. Fouled off to the exact same spot, and the count remains 3-2. Here's a pitch. Fouled off once again, and Regan is staying alive here. Making Gordon use some pitches here early. Here it comes. Strike three is called. That was low, but called for strike three. I think we've seen so far in this contest, the strike zone is going to be a little bit larger than normal, but it is seen to be called equally on both sides. So that is the first strikeout of the afternoon for Gordon, and that brings up Tommy Cruzzoli, the senior, who's playing as the designated hitter this afternoon. Cruzzoli pops that up. The shortstop in shallow outfield catches it for out number three. 3 up, 3 down for both teams. We'll be back here in a second for the top of the second here on Easton Community Access Television.
Good afternoon, everyone.
I'm Abby Malafato.
And I'm
Coming to you from 50 Oliver in North Easton, this is Easton News and
Don't have time to stay up and watch ECAT channels all day long, or miss your favorite show's time slot? Don't worry, ECAT has a YouTube channel that has all the programs that we show, so you don't have to miss any of the episodes or catch up on past episodes. Search Easton Cat TV, with TV being the only capital letters. The YouTube channel has playlists for every program, even some of the programs you can download a podcast version. We even stream live events through our channel. To stay up to date with ECAT programming, make sure you look up ECAT's YouTube channel. And don't forget to subscribe so you can get all the alerts for the new programming premiere, and change alerts to all to make sure you receive all of them. Remember to search Easton Cat TV, with TV being the capital letters. So there's no reason to miss any of the ECAT programming. Enjoy.
No score here at Frothingham as the top of the second is about to commence. Ben Angelini, the center fielder, will be up as the first hitter for Foxboro. Angelini has been a staple in the outfield for the Warriors for the past 2 seasons, and he also was a Hockomock Sports first team selection last year. If we were to take a look at the Hockomock League standings, particularly the Davenport division in which your Tigers reside, both of these teams are locked up in 4th place with 4 wins, each to their credit. And really this afternoon, if either team wants to keep pace with the top of the division, this is a must-win this afternoon. And so it'll be interesting to see how each team responds. Right now, the score is 0-0. Fouled off out of play, hits the sign right above us there. That is a very, very loud strike. 0-1 to Angelini. Neither team has had a hit so far today. Very early on. Low, ball 1. Drew Hall once again behind the dish. He's grown quite a bit behind home plate this year. His pitch. Slow chopper back to the pitcher, who is going to throw to first, and that will be out number 1. Angelini just got a very, very small piece of it, but hit slowly back to Johnson, who was able to get the easy out for out number 1. Aiden Stowe, the junior, playing out in right today, is next up at bat. Again, 1 out, no score early here at Frothingham. Outside for ball 1. Yeah, Drew Hall has certainly grown behind home plate this year, considering some of the pass balls and some of the wild pitches that he had to deal with. Wild pitches, not his fault, but he has not let almost anything go past him this year. It's been great to watch his improvement, as well as the improvement of all the boys. Again, this core group has no doubt grown from last year to this year. 1-1. Here's a pitch. Swing and a mighty cut for strike 2. Stowe swings right through that. And again, Johnson with good control this afternoon so far, good movement on his pitches. A 1-2 count. Here it comes. Outside, and Stowe does not chase, so the count is 2-2. You have to think, looking at Oliver Ames' schedule and some of the 1-run losses that they've had, just a few different bounces of the ball. Popped up to right field and caught for out number 2 by Colin Costello. Yeah, just a few runs here and there. You're looking at a 5-9 team that could be arguably a 9-5 team with the Tigers. And that's so much different than what we saw last year, when games easily got away from them. Innings got out of hand as they kind of lost a little bit of the control. And that has not been the case this year at all. Popped up into foul territory, and, well, Henry Burr gives chase. He's not able to make the catch. That was a little bit far for him to be able to make that catch in foul territory beyond first base and beyond Costello's reach as well. So strike 1, 0-1, 2 outs. Colin Trimble, again, the junior, at the plate. Here's a pitch. Strike call, 0-2. Johnson's already struck out one, looking to strike out another and end the top of the second. Here's a pitch. Just a touch low. 1-2. Trimble digs in. Here's a throw. Grounder, which is bobbled and thrown to first, but will not be in time for a base hit. So Trimble will be aboard. We will score that as an error and not a hit because, unfortunately, Tommy Regan was not able to reel in that ground ball. It kind of bounced around from glove to hand, and that allowed just that second or two of hesitation, allowed Trimble to make it to first. So that brings the number 7 hitter, Henry Griffin, up to bat, and the first base runner for Foxboro is aboard. Fouled off for 0-1. 2 outs, runner on first on the error by Regan. All right. Johnson throws. Fouled off once again. And once again, we have an 0-2 count with 2 outs. Ryan Johnson looks and delivers. Strong hit out into left field, but foul territory where A.J. Barancelli makes the catch for out number 3. It's the middle of the second inning, and it's time to bring you the out-of-town scoreboard. And the out-of-town scoreboard is brought to you by the Easton Lions Club. Where there's a need, there's a lion. To be a Lion or to learn more about the Easton Lions Club, visit eastonlions.com. Well, the last time there was any activity in the Hockomock League was last Thursday. All of the games were rained out on Friday as well as on Saturday. There were 3 contests. Of course, we've already mentioned that Oliver Ames lost by a score of 2-1 on Thursday, with the winning run stranded on first base. But North Attleboro also played against Stoughton on Thursday and won 10-1. North Attleboro jumped out to an early lead with 4 runs in the first inning and then doubled the advantage with 2 runs in each of the second and third innings on its way to a big win at Stoughton. The Rocketeers had 11 different players record a hit, with Lucas Corvo and Jake Ronci each having 2 hits. And then Milford and Sharon played at 5 p.m. last Thursday. However, that game has been delayed. Milford led 8-0, and Sharon was trying to rally, loading the bases with 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th, when a storm rolled in and forced the game to be delayed. And so that game will be picked up TBD. As I mentioned, the Hockomock League division standings, with the Keller Rex division, Taunton up on top with 10 wins against 1 loss. Attleboro in second place, tied up with King Philip. In fourth place, Franklin. Fifth place, Milford. And sixth place, Sharon, with only 2 wins on the year. But the Davenport division, in which your Tigers play, along with Foxboro, first place is North Attleboro, of which Oliver Ames got a big win against a couple weeks ago. They are in first place with 7 wins, Canton with 6, and Mansfield with 6. Foxboro and Oliver Ames both with 4 in fourth place. And so one of these teams needs this win to be able to keep up with what's going on above them in the standings. And so we now get to the bottom of the second inning. And again, the score is 0-0, and Drew Hall is up to bat. First pitch is in the dirt, 1-0. Again, Drew Hall has improved greatly this year on both defense and on offense. Takes again, 2-0 is the count. Drew's had some big swings at the bat this year, at least here at Frothingham Park. Nolan Gordon delivers. Fouled off. Now, OA and Foxboro have already played once this year, and that was at Foxboro, and Oliver Ames won 4-3 back on April 9th. Fouled off again, 2-2. And needless to say, both of these teams have seen some things over the last month, and so while Oliver Ames did get the victory a month ago, nothing is assured here this afternoon. 2-2 to Hall. Gordon with the pitch. Hit deep into left field, but it's going to be right in front of Henry Griffin, who makes the catch for out number 1. Again, Drew making strong contact. However, it was catchable by Griffin for the first out. Colin Costello, the right fielder, is the second hitter of the bottom of the second for the Tigers. Again, fouled and off of that shed behind us, 0-1. Costello's put together some good turns at the plate this year, at least at home. Takes, but is called strike. He's behind the count, 0-2. Costello is a senior this year. Well outside for a ball. A count of 1-2 to Costello. Gordon with the pitch. In the dirt. Gordon delivers. Good take there by Costello. Thought about it and held back. He's worked his way back to a full count. 3-2. 1 out here in the bottom of the second. That is a grounder to the shortstop, who bumbles it and will be a base hit. Shades of what happened to the Tigers just a few moments ago in the top of the second, as a grounder to the shortstop is not handled in time, and a runner is aboard now with 1 out. Costello on first, Henry Burr at the plate. The lefty. Here's a pitch. In the dirt. Burr's a sophomore and has played his way into the starting lineup, and his bat has been one of the reasons for that. Here's a pitch. Fouled off into the trees, onto Park Street, and always looking back to see if there's any damage, and it looks like we're all clear. 1-1. Beautiful day here for a ball game at Frothingham Park. Runner goes, and that's going to be a base hit. Costello got a great jump on that, and we'll have runners on first and second with 1 out, and A.J. Baroncelli. Baroncelli had an incredible run on Monday against Stoughton. Struck out 13. Gave up no earned runs. Not pitching today, but playing out in left field. Swings right through it. OA with runners on first and second. 1 out. Here's a pitch from Gordon. That's going to go to the shortstop, who's going to make the catch, and heads up base running there by Costello to make sure that he wasn't doubled up. So that liner is caught. 2 outs with runners on first and second. Patrick DeLowry, the 8-hitter, is up next. Here's a pitch. Just on the edge of the strike zone. 1 strike. He looks and delivers. On the other side of the zone, strike 2. If you're Oliver Ames, you want to capitalize here. You had runners on first and second with 1 out. They're looking now at an 0-2 count with 2 outs. outside for a ball. DeLowry is a senior. Not typically in the lineup, but is in this afternoon and looking to make his mark. Gordon looks and deals. Strike 3 is the call as DeLowry watches it go by for out number 3. Well, the Tigers had some chances there, but we're not able to put a run across. We'll start the third in just a moment. Stick with us. We'll be back here on ECAT.
Mike.
And I'm Curtis. We're from Royalty Beverage, your local distributor of Polar Spring Water.
We're excited to join forces with ECAT, also supporting local media and helping ECAT thrive.
So join us in making a difference. To learn more, email us at water@eastoncat.org.
Stay hydrated, support ECAT, and let's make a positive impact together.
Thanks for your support, Easton.
Thank you, Easton.
Hello and welcome to Easton News. I'm Joe Taft.
And I'm Jack Ryan, and together we bring you everything you need to know about Easton, including politics.
The Town of Easton is undertaking a crucial public safety and public works facilities replacement project to enhance essential services for the community.
Community events.
Mark your calendars and get your costumes ready. The Easton Food Pantry will be hosting a Halloween parade.
And sports.
Boys soccer stayed hot, defeating Stoughton 2-1. That was the team's 5th straight division title and 4th in a row in the Davenport.
With APCSM guest segment Pet of the Week.
Hi, I'm Katie with the Animal Protection Center, and today we have a little Iris.
With help from special correspondent Wyatt Fain. Join us
For Easton News.
Playing 6 o'clock Friday, Saturday, and Sundays.
We're back at Frothingham and the 8, 9, and top of the top. Let's try that again. The 8, 9, and number 1 hitters will be up for Foxboro this afternoon. Anthony Rego, the DH, will be the first hitter. I was watching a promo for Easton News, as you were just watching as well, and I was just so entranced by it that I lost my place. So it's probably a good time to remind you to watch Easton News every week on Easton Community Access Television. I got to tell you, Joe Taft and Jack Ryan are killing it on Easton News. Here's the first pitch. Strike. Johnson struck out 1 so far and has not given up a hit. So far, this has been a very tight contest, and I would expect it to be that way all the way through. Strike 2 is called, and Johnson jumps out ahead. 0-2 is the count. Swing and a miss for strike 3, and the second strikeout for Johnson this afternoon. Bottom of the order, Nolan Gordon, the pitcher, is up. And it's interesting this game is so tight, and the last game that they played over in Foxboro a month ago was so tight. Last year, it was all Foxboro. 2 games, a combined score between those 2 games of 13-1. And again, you just see the growth of the Tigers this year, and a lot of credit has to be given to Coach Abar and the hard work he's done and his coaching staff, but to the boys as well for applying themselves. The growth is absolutely incredible to see. Johnson again jumps out ahead, 0-2 in the count, 1 out to the pitcher, Gordon. Here's the pitch. Just a touch low. 1-2 is your count. In Gordon here at the bottom of the order. Top of the order with Marcasella over on deck. Foul tip into the glove of Drew Hall will be called out. I don't know if we can call that a strikeout because I think it was foul tipped into the glove of Drew Hall. So, again, I am not the official scorekeeper this afternoon, but as I'm marking that down, that will be an out without being a strikeout for out number 2. But anyway, you slice it. Again, Johnson is in control. And Oliver Ames' pitching, again, has just improved this year. You think of A.J. Barancelli, and we had about 5 innings before he gave up his first hit on Monday against Stoughton. 1-1. Johnson's had a great year. Jack Devonshire as well. I don't want to leave anyone out, but to just see improvement in every area for Tigers fans is a welcome turn of events. 2-1, 2 outs. The leadoff hitter, Marcusella, is back up. Fouls that off, and we're looking at a 2-2 count. Catcher, again, Marcusella, steps back in. Here's a pitch. In the dirt and slips away. We're looking at a full count. And Johnson, early on so far, has been in control, has not given up a hit. Foxboro has only had a runner on first on an error thus far. Full count, here's the pitch. Chopper to the shortstop who collects, actually knocks it down. He doesn't actually knock it down. It goes into left field, and that will be a base hit. Had a little difficulty seeing who and where and how that was going through into the outfield, but the end result was not able to be played, had enough bounce on it that it slipped into left field. Runner on first now with 2 outs, and Tom Watts steps back up. Struck out back in the first. Johnson looks over at first as Marcusella scurries back. And here's the pitch. And the runner goes, but it's going to be a grounder to the shortstop who is going to throw to first. Henry Burr collects for out number 3. One hit, first hit for Foxboro, but to no avail as we are midway through the third inning and the score remains 0-0. We have some community events for you this afternoon, and our community events are brought to you by Morse Assurance. Morse specializes in business insurance, home insurance, car insurance, and more throughout southeastern Mass and the south coast of Massachusetts. It's Morse, of course. As far as community events, I don't know if you've heard, but there's a town meeting coming up here in a few days. I have a feeling you might have seen some signs. You have heard people talking about it. That is coming up on Monday, May 19th. That is next Monday at 7 p.m. It is at the Oliver Ames High School Auditorium over on 100 Lothrop Street. If you want to learn more about the warrant as well as some of the budgetary issues that are taking place, you can go to easton.ma.us to learn more. And of course, if you're not able to make it, you can watch on ECAT as they will be broadcasting live. However long it goes, yes, that's a promise. However long it goes, deep into the night, they will be there. They're kind of like the Postal Service, neither rain nor snow nor darkness at night. Well, maybe not, but they're going to be there broadcasting anyway, and hope you'll tune in if you're not able to be there. And of course, there are other elections that are taking place as well. Monday, May 19th, or actually tomorrow, May 13th, from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. There's a special primary election for precincts 4A, 5, and 6, voting for a primary for the 3rd Bristol District State Representative race. And then on Tuesday, June 10th, from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., there will be a special town election in reference to the override as well as to that state election once the primaries have passed tomorrow. For more information about that, you can check out the town crier, as I do, or again, go to easton.ma.us. And also, the Easton Tricentennial Committee needs volunteers. There's going to be a flag ceremony on June 14th, and of course, that large 300th anniversary parade coming up on July 12th. Residents interested should contact the Tricentennial Committee through their webpage, easton300.org. Well, we're at the bottom of the third, and we're also at the bottom of the order with Fowler, Fitzpatrick, and Regan, the first 3 batters here. Fowler grounds it to short, and it's going to be thrown to first for a quick out number 1. Fitzpatrick, his second turn at the plate this afternoon, he is 0 for 1 thus far. Fitzpatrick out in center field has just been, and he's been everything that you want from a center fielder. He has range. He's able to catch some of those difficult fly balls, as that strike is called. The way the field is configured here, looking out into the sun in this mid-afternoon, and of course having to navigate the tree, the berm, all those things that make Frothingham Park what it is. And Fitzpatrick has provided some great senior leadership as one of the two captains. And that's a strong rip into right field. The question is, will it be caught? And it will be for out number 1 as Aiden Stowe makes the over-the-shoulder catch. Great rip of the ball there by Fitzpatrick, but unfortunately it is registered as out number 2. Tommy Regan with his second turn at the plate. He struck out back in the first. Fitzpatrick got all of that, but Stowe was able to make his way over and make that over-the-shoulder catch. Regan with a count of 1-0. 2 outs. The score remains 0-0. Here's a pitch. Ball, 2-0. Both Gordon and Johnson have had, for the most part, complete control over the hitters of the opposition. Here's a pitch. Again, a pop fly to the basic same area. It's in foul territory where the right fielder makes the diving catch for out number 3 deep into foul territory. Hats off there to Aiden Stowe for a great catch there in deep foul territory near the batting cages. Well, the score remains 0-0. We'll be here back for the 4th in just a moment, but in the meantime, we'll take a break. We'll see you in a moment here on ECAT.
Yeah. This is the life. Just relaxing by the beach. What could be better than this?
I've got an idea.
What?
I'd really like to find a forever home.
Forever home?
Yeah, like Jack Ryan talks about on Easton News. A forever home. All those animals at the APCSM, they get forever homes. Why not us?
Listen, man, I hate to tell you this.
Tell me what? Come on, tell me. Look, I can take it. Look at me. Come on, tell me. I can take it. Come on.
We're not real.
What are you talking about? Of course we're real. Look at us. We're sitting here on the beach, on vacation, being served raw meat, mind you. We're having a great time. How are we not real? No, thank you. I'm good. I've had enough. I've had enough. Thank you. What are you talking about? Of course we're real.
Look, it's not that we're not real. We're just not living, breathing animals. You don't even have a mouth, dude.
Well, oh yeah? Well, your eyes are just plastic.
Right back at you.
You've ruined my vacation. I can't believe you've done this.
I mean, well, while we're at it, why do we need a vacation? It's not like you have a job.
Oh, wow. Oh, okay. All right. You know what? I'm out of here.
Cubby, wait. I'm sorry. I didn't mean... Oh, well, you have to get it eventually.
If you'd like to get your hands on a cubby of your own, scan the QR code on your screen now.
We've promised you a tight contest, and that has been the case thus far with the game all knotted up at 0. Here in the top of the 4th, Ryan O'Leary, again, one of those senior captains, is going to take a big rip that goes into left field, skied high, but A.J. Baroncelli gets under it for out number 1. Second fly out of the afternoon for O'Leary. The cleanup hitter, Angelini, will be up next. Again, Johnson has been in control this afternoon, only given up 1 hit, struck out 2. I have a feeling this game is going to come down maybe to the very last out or two. Strike 1. Johnson pitches. Fouled off, and again, jumps out ahead 0-2. Foxboro has been working behind most of the afternoon thus far. Their hitters have been getting very quickly behind Johnson on the attack. Not really even giving him a chance to breathe there at the plate. Oh, that is called a ball. I was pretty sure that was strike 3. What a gutsy take there by Angelini. 1-2 is the count. 1 out. Top of the 4th. Here's a pitch. Ball 2 as Angelini attempts to work his way back into the count. Again, beautiful day here at Frothingham Park. If you got a chance, you still have a few minutes to get down here if you live in the neighborhood. Full count now as Angelini refuses to chase. It's about 70 degrees. Wind's blowing in a little bit this afternoon. Full count. Johnson with the pitch. Slow grounder to the shortstop, who's going to throw to Burr, and it's going to be in time for out number 2. A lot of grounders to the shortstop, and Tommy Regan's getting a lot of work this afternoon. But other than that one bobbled throw a couple innings ago, he's been right on, and Henry Burr the same. Aiden Stowe, the right fielder, is up next, looking for his first hit of the afternoon. He's had a couple of web gems out there in right. Here's a pitch from Johnson. A touch low. Ball 1. Again, you may very well be a Tigers fan, but you have to appreciate what Stowe has done on a couple of those fly balls in the last inning. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Again, top of 4, no score here at Worcester Field. Here's a pitch. Ball 2. 2 balls and 1 strike. Again, Stowe flew out in the second. And he is hit by the pitch and will take his base. And it looks like the hitter is no worse for the wear. However, he is excited to be able to take first base, and that brings up Colin Trimble next. He reached on that error from short back in the second inning. And Stowe represents only the second base runner this afternoon for Foxboro. Here's a pitch. To take that back, he would be the third base runner that they'd have, I believe. Again, going by just these chicken scratch notes that I have here that I make as we go on. But, again, Johnson has been in almost total control. The runner goes. Popped up, foul. Will it be in play? Henry Burr is trying to make the catch, and he does. He does not. I'm sorry. I thought that he had it from the reaction of the crowd. I actually didn't have a view there because it was the dugout in the way. But, unfortunately, that is just a foul ball. To the runner does go back to first because it's foul, and it is a 1-1 count to Trimble. Watching that runner on first, seeing if he's willing to take off again. Inside, ball 2. And it might just be my imagination. It very well could be, but I feel like that strike zone that was pretty wide open a couple innings ago has shrunk down a little bit. Fouled off once again. 2-2, 2 outs, and Johnson is looking for one more strike to shut down the Warriors here in the top of the 4th. Again, Aiden Stowe on first after being hit by the pitch just a few moments ago. And he goes again. And Drew Hall allows him to go. And so that will not be counted as a stolen base, but rather the base will be taken by defensive indifference. Full count, 2 outs, runner on second in scoring position now. Pop up into foul territory. Burr looking to get this one as well, but again, it's just beyond his grasp. The count remains full, 2 outs, runner on second. think Drew Hall maybe there rather wisely decided not to try to catch the runner at second. That pitch goes by or that throw goes by, now you have a runner on third, and just letting him go and getting the strikeout here and getting out of the top of the fourth is probably the way to go here. And that's it right there. Struck him out as he sits down, and that will end the top of the fourth for Foxboro, and the score remains 0-0. Well, we have a few more community events for you to make you aware of, again, brought to you by Morse Insurance. There's a call for a volunteer event photographer. Concerts are held on Wednesday evenings outside at Oaks Ames Memorial Hall beginning on July 9th through August 20th from 7 to 9 p.m. Volunteers will need to attend the concerts each week, capture images of the performers and audience, and send images to the Cultural District Liaison by the next day. Photographs will be used across various platforms, including Easton's webpage, newsletters, social media channels, and grant reporting purposes. And if you volunteer, you will be given credit whenever possible. If you're interested, please email Amy Rodriguez, the Cultural District Liaison, at arodriguez@easton.ma.us by May 30th with images of previous work. While previous experience is not required, samples of your past photos are encouraged. As I mentioned just a few moments ago, there's the Easton 300 Parade that's coming up on July 12th, 2025. It steps off at 10 a.m. from Center and Short Street and ends at the corner of Main Street and Pond Street. You can celebrate with a state police flyover, the Aleppo Shriners, the HKS Clydesdales, talented bands, local officials, and more exciting acts. And I will tell you, this is a pretty aggressive parade route that they have here. It's going to be pretty exciting. You want to be a part of it. Is ECAT covering the ECAT will be there. Will Willard Scott be there to cover? No, I don't think he's with us anymore. All things considered, he would. It would be like the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. I mean, I think that's incredible. I know a lot of civic organizations will be marching, including the church that I pastor, Liberty Baptist Church. We're not quite sure what we're doing yet. We do have a man in our church that plays the bagpipes. We were thinking about maybe doing something like that. Amazing Grace. I don't know. I was thinking about juggling. Or maybe just calling play-by-play as we walk down the parade route. I don't know. But anyway, are we back to the action? Yes, mercifully we are here in the bottom of the fourth inning. And again, it is all knotted up at 0. Tommy Curzoli is next, and the 3-4-5 hitters right at the heart of the order will be up for Oliver Ames. Drew Hall is on deck. Curzoli has a 1-1 count. Again, each team trying to get the advantage, and no one really able to do so thus far. Neither team has had a runner past second base. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Curzoli. Johnson with 2 strikeouts, or rather Gordon. Actually, Gordon and Johnson both have 2 strikeouts. Line to center field and trying to get a look at it, and it is caught for out number 1. Second fly out thus far for Curzoli, and that brings up Drew Hall, who had a mighty blast to left field back in the second inning, but was caught by the left fielder, Henry Griffin. Again, neither team able to push a runner past second base. This has been a pitcher's duel, if there ever was one. Drops into the zone for strike 1. Good-looking crowd this afternoon at Frothingham, and again, the weather is just perfect. Strike 2 right down the heart of the plate, middle. If you live in Easton, this is a Chamber of Commerce kind of day. This is incredible. Spring is sprung, a little bit of heat, not too hot. Skied high, and everyone's calling for it, and nobody's sure who to catch it, and it falls for a base hit. You had 3 different fielders all trying to decide who's going to catch it, and none of them did, and Drew Hall ends up making it on the error for a base runner for Oliver Ames. Time is called by Coach Abar. Courtesy runner will be coming in for Drew Hall. Try to get a number here for you in a second and relay that information for who is stepping in for him. An incredible play. I mean, that was just skied high. And the catcher, the third baseman, and the pitcher all trying to figure out who caught it. Nobody called for it, and it ended up just falling harmlessly between them all. But that does put Drew Hall on first, or actually puts his runner on first base with one out. Trying to get a run across the dish. Costello had a hit in the second. Looking for a second here, as that's high for ball one. Swings through for strike one, and the runner gets back in time, despite the pickoff attempt there from the catcher. So 1-1. Runner on first, possibly looking to steal. This is one of those days where you'll need to manufacture some runs. Whatever advantage can be made here, even just getting around the base paths, it's going to be the way that I think one of these teams is going to win. A little bit of small ball. In the dirt, 2-1. So not 100% sure who that runner is on first, and if I have that information, I'll pass that on to you. 2-1, one out, runner on first. No score here at Frothingham. Gordon takes his time, throws back to first, and almost got caught napping, and he did get caught napping, unfortunately, and is picked off for out number 2. Difficult position there for Oliver Ames, as the courtesy runner was so intent on running that he did not see the pickoff attempt coming, and that is actually number 16, Jack Giovanello. So now we're looking at 2 balls, 1 strike, and 2 outs. That would be 2-2. Is it 2-2? It seems there's some confusion. The umpire is trying to discern what the count is. 2 strikes. We all have 2 strikes here. And it looks like reason has been restored here, as Foxboro was trying to convince the umpire that that was a strikeout. It was not. The count is now 2-2 with 2 outs. All right. And we're back. 2-2 with 2 outs to Costello. Here's a pitch. Grounder to the third baseman, who takes it off the chest, and he's going to leg that out for a base hit. Costello turned on the jets, and Colin Trimble took that one on the hop right off of the rib cage. And between the speed of Costello and the difficulty of fielding the grounder, that is a base hit. Henry Burr back up. He had a base hit back in the second. So runner on second, or rather runner on first, 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th. No score at Worcester Field. Time is called just as Gordon is about to pitch. Gordon's given up 3 hits thus far. Here's a pitch. Hit the corner of the zone for strike 1. A lot of grounders this afternoon. These pitchers have been able to keep these balls low as far as being fielded. High for a ball. There's been some pop-ups as well, but boy, they've been high-skied pop flies. Not the kind of trajectory that would fall or any kind of gappers or anything of that nature thus far. Very bottom of the zone, 1 and 2. Runner on first. Burr, again, looking for his second hit of the afternoon, 1 for 1. Here's a pitch. Swings through it and misses for strike 3 as they tap first base, and that will end the inning. Third punch out there for Gordon as we end the fourth, and the game remains tied at 0. Stick with us. We'll be here back in a moment on ECAT.
Girls, residents of Easton, friends and neighbors, this is Bill Ames,
co-host with Priscilla Almquist Olson of the Film Connection.
On ECAT now for over 20 years. We're very proud of that.
And we like to interview guests from Easton who have been involved in the film business.
Actors, producers. We're very fortunate today to have a producer of a film.
A classic pitcher's duel here at Frothingham Park as we enter the top of the fifth, and the score remains 0-0. Foxboro up with the bottom third of the order. 7, 8, 9 hitters will be up. And we start with Henry Griffin. Out number 1 quite quickly there for Griffin, who is now 0 for 2 on the afternoon. Anthony Rego is up next. He's the designated hitter and struck out back in the third. So far, Johnson has been in complete control with 2 strikeouts and only having given up 1 hit so far. And no walks. Did hit a pitcher, or did hit someone with a pitch in the last inning. And what you just witnessed right there is really why Johnson's been so successful. Is he's throwing strikes and he's getting ahead in the count very, very quickly. And this would be another example of that, as quickly he's up 0-2 against the junior Rego. Yeah, this one is going to be a nail-biter this afternoon. And again, these are 2 teams who are locked together in the standings. And if you want to keep up with North Attleboro at the top of the Davenport division, you need to win this game. And you can see 2 teams that very much feel the weight of that this afternoon. Little high for a ball. 1-2 to Rego. Here's a pitch. Popped up and out of play. We're still at 1-2. Strike 3 is called for his 3rd strikeout of the afternoon, and that is the 2nd out here in the top of the 5th. Gordon, the pitcher, is up next. Bottom of the order. Looking over to each bullpen side, and there is no activity, as you kind of would expect right now with 2 pitchers that are just absolutely locked in. At the knees for ball 1. Gordon 0 for 1, flew out back in the 3rd inning. Here's a pitch. Swings through for strike 1. Little low for ball 2. Chopper once again to short. It's going to be collected and thrown to Burr for out number 3. Once again, 3 up, 3 down for Foxboro, as Oliver Ames will be back here at the bottom of the 5th to try to put one on the board. In the meantime, we still remain scoreless here at Frothingham Park. Give you a couple more community events as we prepare for the bottom of the 5th inning. First of all, we are looking at the Easton 2025 Tricentennial Signature Events. We mentioned the activity that's taking place on July 12th with the Easton 300 Parade, but there's also anniversary fireworks as well as a picnic, concert, and flag ceremony and special tribute to veterans. That's all taking place on June 14th from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m., and that's at the Oliver Ames High School complex. The Easton 300 Block Party takes place on September 6th at 10:30 p.m. until 4 p.m. at the Governor Ames Estate over on Oliver Street. It happens to be across the street from the studios of Easton Community Access Television. Check that out on September 6th. There's the Easton 300 Bonfire on October 11th. That's at OA starting at 6 p.m. And the Anniversary Gala on December 27th at 6 p.m. You say gala or gala? What would you say, Adam Carrero? You would say gala? All right. I've heard it gala. I've heard it both ways. So no? Is it gala you would say? Okay. All right. Well, I have to say what the program director says, so we're going to call it an Anniversary Gala. I think that's it. Just making conversation here, Adam. Yeah? No? You want to go with gala? All right. How about you, viewers? All right. Email us at acarrero at eastoncat.org because he wants your feedback on this. Don't email me. All right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. We'll put up a poll. Yeah. The poll brought to you by Aflac. Isn't that what they used to do? Something like that on some of the broadcasts. Anyway, we're at the bottom of the 5th, and we are wanting to see Oliver Ames put a run on the board as we remain 0-0. And A.J. Baroncelli, again, represents the 7, 8, 9 of the order for Oliver Ames, just as it was a few moments ago for Foxboro. You got Baroncelli, DeLowry, and Fowler. A.J. swings through for strike 1. Yeah, the Gala conundrum is going to really make me think for the rest of the afternoon as that ball goes well outside. 1-1. Here's a pitch. Popped up. Fouled off. Strike 2. We got a 1-2 count for Baroncelli as Gordon remains in the game. Struck out 3, given up 3 hits. In the dirt. You have to look back at the last inning for Oliver Ames and the runner who was hung out to dry there on the pickoff attempt. Could end up being pivotal. There we go. Another high pop fly there into the infield. That infield fly is caught this time for out number 1. Curious if we'd have a similar situation to what we had in the last inning where nobody called it and everybody missed it there in the infield. That was not the case. Baroncelli now 0 for 2 as DeLowry is up next. As he settles in the box, he is 0 for 1, having struck out in the second. And that's going to be hit towards the third baseman, who is going to throw high, but it is collected for out number 2. 1 pitch and 1 out means that OA now is with 2 outs in the inning, and Cade Fowler at the bottom of the order up next. Again, neither team able to get the advantage, neither team bringing a runner across second yet. Here's a pitch. Again, looking over at both benches, no one's warming up. Would love to see a complete game out of both these pitchers. If nothing else, you have to respect what both have done on the mound this afternoon, as that's fouled off about 3 feet from my face to my right, and it is 0-2. Fowler trying to stay alive here. 2 outs. Here's the pitch. pokes that to the second baseman who catches it, or shortstop rather, for out number 3. 3 up, 3 down again for Oliver Ames, and this game remains 0-0. We'll be back in a moment after the break here on ECAT. That's perfect.
Good afternoon, everyone.
I'm Abby Malafato.
And I'm
Coming to you from 50 Oliver in North Easton. This is Easton News and
Don't have time to stay up and watch ECAT channels all day long, or miss your favorite show's time slot? Don't worry, ECAT has a YouTube channel that has all the programs that we show, so you don't have to miss any of the episodes or catch up on past episodes. Search Easton Cat TV, with TV being the only capital letters. The YouTube channel has playlists for every program, even some of the programs you can download a podcast version. We even stream live events through our channel. To stay up to date with ECAT programming, make sure you look up ECAT's YouTube channel. And don't forget to subscribe so you can get all the alerts for the new programming premiere, and change the alerts to all to make sure you receive all of them. Remember to search Easton Cat TV, with TV being the capital letters. So there's no reason to miss any of the ECAT programming. Enjoy.
Hey, Easton, I'm Mike.
And I'm Curtis. We're from Royalty Beverage, your local distributor of Polar Spring Water.
We're excited to join forces with ECAT, also supporting local media and helping ECAT thrive.
So join us in making a difference. To learn more, email us at water@eastoncat.org.
Stay hydrated, support ECAT, and let's make a positive impact together.
Thanks for your support, Easton.
Thank you, Easton.
We are back, and this is a nail-biter at Frothingham. It's the top of the 6th. There's no score. Ryan Johnson and Nolan Gordon are putting on a clinic this afternoon. And again, each of these teams are struggling to try to move up the Davenport Division standings, both tied up with 4 wins apiece. Both need this win. And we got 2 innings to go. Let's see what happens. 1, 2, 3 hitters for both sides will be in the 6th, and Johnson blows that past Marcusella for strike 1. Wind is picking up. Wind is very strong coming in. 0-2. And the wind just kicked up there for a moment. Saw that there could be gusts up to around 30 miles an hour this afternoon, but the wind is very much blowing in. I think that's why you've had some of those fly balls just hang up in the air. Speaking of that, fly ball into right field, and Costello makes the catch in foul territory for out number 1. Again, Ryan Johnson only having given up 1 run thus far, or rather run hit this afternoon, and struck out 3. Tom Watts, one of those 4 captains, or 5 captains rather, but 4 in a row for Foxboro, the top 4 in the order, is up next. Strike call. Again, I certainly think our umpire has in general, a little bit of a larger strike zone, which has moved things along this afternoon. Here's a pitch. Pokes at it and foul. And again, Johnson again up in the count early. And he just has taken his foot on the neck of the batters thus far and is not taking any of the pressure off. They are behind quickly almost every single time. And then they're forced to chase, although they did not chase after that. 1 and 2. Johnson has not taken his foot off the gas. 1 and 2, 1 out. Top of 6. No score. In the dirt. 2-2 count. Tom Watts is also one of the pitchers in the rotation for the Foxboro Warriors, but is not today as he hits a ground ball that is just past Tommy Regan's glove. Cade Fowler picks it up, but not in time for the throw, and so that will end up being, I believe, an error. That puts a runner on first with 1 out, and O'Leary, the shortstop, his 3rd attempt at the plate, and is 0 for 2 thus far. So 1 out, runner on first. Hit towards center field. Harrison Fitzpatrick is going to, that's going to be a ground rule double. It hit the tree, and the runners are still running. However, I believe they're going to have to go back because that's a ground rule double. That hits the tree, it's a ground rule double. It did not hit the tree. I thought for sure it hit the tree. All right, well, then forget everything I just said. Foxboro has gotten their first run of the afternoon. Unfortunate there that it did not hit the tree. If it did, it would have caused the runners to have to remain at second and third. However, because it did miss, that means there's a runner on third. That was an RBI for Ryan O'Leary. Foxboro scores first. It's the top of the 6th, and it's now 1-0. Runner on third with 1 out, and the cleanup hitter, Ben Angelini, is up next. Strike call. That ball was very deep, and you were hoping that Harrison Fitzpatrick, who is just so reliable out there in center, would be able to make that catch. But then I thought that it came at an awkward angle as if it fell off of the tree, but I was wrong. But Johnson immediately gets again to an 0-2 count. Want to get control again here. Here's a pitch. Low, 1-2. This is the kind of afternoon where you could win a 1-0 game, and so that could be very, very devastating for the Tigers. Low once again, 2-2. And Angelini, 0 for 2 this afternoon. That was Foxboro's only their second hit of the day. Low again, 3-2. Strikeout here would be so key for the Tigers. 3-2, 1 out, runner on third. Here's a pitch. Fouls it off. Again, this certainly having that run score is difficult because you could see a 1-0 win this afternoon the way this game has gone. Oh, and the batter is hit in the shoulder, and that is the second hit by pitch for Johnson. And check and make sure that he is okay. And it seems that he is, and he will take his base. That puts runners on the corners with 1 out. Looking over at the OA dugout, and Alex Sade is warming up in the pen. This might be the last inning for Johnson if he can work his way out of the jam he has here. So as Coach Abar comes out and they huddle there in the infield, you have runners on first and third, 1 out. Johnson just hit his second batter of the afternoon, but for the most part has been in control. And the only reason, again, that this feels again more monumental probably than one run should is the fact that this has been such a pitcher's duel this afternoon. And Oliver Ames has not been able to get a runner past second base. But still, a lot of baseball to be played here. And Johnson has the opportunity to work his way out of this leverage situation. So Foxboro takes the lead first this afternoon. It's 1-0. There's 1 out. Aiden Stowe, he was also hit by a pitch in the 4th inning. Bunt is laid down, and throw to home is going to be in time. Drew Hall applies the tag for out number 2. Great heads-up play there as the bunt was laid down, but the runner was a little bit slow for Foxboro, and because of that, he was called out by a great tag by Drew Hall. That was an important out for Oliver Ames. Colin Trimble up next with runners on first and second and 2 outs. If Foxboro goes up by 2 there, that is a much, much worse situation, again, especially with the lack of offense this afternoon. Strike 1. It'd be great to see Johnson finish out this inning. before Sade comes in relief in the 7th, as it appears will be the case. 0-1. Here's pitch. Inside. Actually called strike. Strike 2. Seemed like that might have been just a bit inside, but Johnson needs one more strike, and we will close out the top of the 6th. Here we go, Ryan. As he looks to the runners. And the pitch. Fouled off. And Trimble stays alive. Again, runners on first and second. 0-2 count. 2 outs. Johnson looking to put him away. As the runners go, popped up once again and out of play, and those runners will have to return to their bases. Okay, as everyone has returned. The count remains 0-2. Johnson looking for that strikeout. Checks the runners. Checks again. And throws. And again fouled off. Trimble lives for another pitch. Oh and 2, 2 outs. Johnson looking to put him away. The runner goes. Popped up into shallow right field. And it is going to fall, and a run will score. That will be the second run for Foxboro, as the runner tries to perhaps go to second, but Drew Hall makes sure they back down. And that means Foxboro is up now 2-0. Trimble gets his first hit of the afternoon, and it falls just shallow enough so that Colin Costello did not have the time to be able to get there, and that will end the afternoon for Ryan Johnson. Ryan Johnson's final stat line this afternoon will be 2 earned runs, 3 hits, 2 strikeouts, or rather 3 strikeouts, and 2 batters who were hit by a pitch. In many ways, a quality start for Ryan Johnson. However, in a day when offense is so precious, it's time for a new pitcher to come in and try to close out this inning. So 5 2/3 for Ryan Johnson, and Alex Sade is going to warm up, and he will try to work the remainder of the afternoon. As he does, it's probably a good time to let you know that on social media, we have a poll right now. What is that, on Instagram, Facebook? What are we looking at? On Instagram. So the question of the afternoon is this: is it gala or gala? So far, we have 2 votes, and they are both for gala, which makes me feel pretty good, all right? But log in and let us know what you think about this very, very important matter. Is it gala or is it gala? And, hey, if this is successful enough, we might need to get a sponsor for it, Adam Carrero. How about that? So, so if there's a sponsorship opportunity you're looking for and you are a local Easton business or organization, hey, A. Carrero at eastoncat.org. Adam.Carrero. Okay, so, yeah, A. Carrero is probably not going to get you anywhere but a bounced email. So, all right, well, log in and let us know that you are watching, and thanks for voting on Instagram with our little bit of foolishness this afternoon. Well, Sade has warmed up, and Foxboro up by 2. Runner on third and first. And again, this has been a pitcher's duel up until the last 15 minutes, as Foxboro has been able to get some runs on the board here. And so as the umpire lets Sade know that he has fulfilled his warm-up pitches, he is going to clean the plate, and that will bring up the left fielder, the 7th in the order, Henry Griffin. He's 0 for 2, and this is the time you want him to sit down and be 0 for 3 and not add an RBI to his stats for the afternoon. Foxboro up by 2. Warriors in the purple and white this afternoon. Oliver Ames in their home orange and black tops and white home uniform pants. 2 outs, runners on the corners. Warriors up by 2 over the Tigers. And Alex Sade is in, looking to close out the inning. Runner goes, and that's going to be across the plate. And the runner is going to go towards third at the same time, and he is not going to be caught either. So that will be the third run, an unfortunate turn of events there for Oliver Ames as Sade comes in and immediately that another run crosses. Now that will be counted to Ryan Johnson. But as the runners both steal, the throw is made not in time. And then the runner goes from second to third. Now we have a runner on third, 2 outs, 3-0. You start to get the feeling that this game could be spiraling a little bit out of control. So if you're the Tigers, you want to settle down, you want to get that last out, and then get those bats working. Because again, 3-0 feels like 30-0 right now just because of the lack of offense. But Oliver Ames does have the capability to be able to score, and the longer that Gordon goes into this game, the more turns they have to be able to see him at work. You'll hope that they are able to get some runs on the board. 1-1, 2 outs here. Here's a pitch. Comebacker to Sade, who is going to throw almost a home, but then forgets to get the force at first for out number 3. That could have been devastating right there as Sade thought about throwing home, but there's no force at home. He needed to throw the first, but got it in time. That was the third out. Well, this is probably the perfect time for our in-game summary, and the in-game summary is brought to you by Doug King Builders. With more than 50 years of experience designing and building over 1,500 homes and 50 commercial properties with over 400 apartments to rent, choose Doug King Builders. For more information, visit dakbuilders.com. Well, this was, as I mentioned at the top of the 6th, a pitcher's duel in every sense of the word as they were knotted up, Warriors and Tigers at 0. However, Foxboro was finally able to break through and got 3 runs through a mixture of fielding errors as well as just some miscues as well as some timely hitting. And it all came together for Foxboro to be up by 3. Oliver Ames thus far has only had 3 hits, 2 hits in the second, 1 in the fourth, and have had 3 who have struck out. And so Oliver Ames, again, only down by 3. Oliver Ames can certainly score here. The Tigers can come back, but when they haven't been able to do much on offense, it just feels like more than it actually is. But the good news, again, for the Tigers is that you have the 1, 2, 3 hitters in the order all up here and the bottom of the 6th inning. So we have Fitzpatrick, Regan, and Cruzzoli. And then as the inning goes on, we get Drew Hall clean up, and we'll see what happens. But stick with us here on ECAT as we see what happens and root for the Oliver Ames comeback. Again, keeping an eye over on the Warriors side of the field, and it does not look like they have anyone warming up, and Gordon is going to continue here in his 6th inning of work. And just the hope that as the Tigers hit through and get to see him a few times, that they will be ready to meet the challenge. And it's good to hear the Tigers dugout giving a little bit of encouragement. Again, one of the things that has been remarkable about the Tigers this year compared to previous years is that, listen, they don't give up. And I don't want to necessarily say that they've given up in years past, but mentally there's been some difficulties as that ground out from Fitzpatrick will be out number 1 as he hits it right to the first baseman on the line who makes the tag. Tommy Regan is up next, looking for his first hit of the contest, and he struck out in the first and flew out in the third. 1 out, Warriors up by 3. One ball, no strikes. Again, low, 2-0. There have been times in the past for the Tigers, I'm thinking particularly of last year, when a 1-run inning, a 2-run inning, even a 3-run inning could turn into a 6, 7, 8-run inning very, very easily as you feel the momentum shift and they're not able to bring themselves back into the game. And it's good to hear the dugout with some chatter. It's good to see the guys up on the fence encouraging Curzoli, or Regan rather, who's up 2-1 in the count. Rips that for a base hit, and that's going to be at least a single as it goes down towards the track. He's going towards second, and that will be a stand-up double, and that's just what Oliver Ames needs as Regan is on second with 1 out. It's foul. Are we being told that's called foul? You could see the dirt kick up. There's no way that was a foul ball. I know that I'm not really allowed to lobby on behalf of Oliver Ames, but he's told to come back, and that is an awful call, an absolutely abysmal call from the umpire, as that was a stand-up double without a doubt, but he's going to have to come all the way back in a 2-1 count with 1 out. Trying to search for the word that you would call that egregious might be high on the list. 2-2 now to Regan, who's going to belt that. Could be in the gap. Let's see what happens, and it is caught for out number 2. Always want to be careful in critiquing the umpires. We understand this is high school baseball. There is no replay. They're doing this mostly for the love of the game and a little bit of a stipend, but at the same time, there's no doubt in my mind that was the wrong call. So instead of a runner on second and 1 out, we're looking at 2 outs and no one aboard, and Tommy Curzoli up next. One ball, no strikes, 2 outs. Curzoli playing DH this afternoon. Here's a pitch. High into left field, and the shortstop is going to make the catch in shallow left field for out number 3. Wow, a difficult turn of events there for Oliver Ames on a very, very difficult call by the umpire, but the score is 3-0. We'll be back for the 7th inning here on ECAT.
Gentlemen, boys and girls, residents of Easton, friends and neighbors, this is Bill Ames, co-host with Priscilla Almquist Olson of the Film Connection on ECAT now for over 20 years. We're very proud of that. And we like to interview guests from Easton who have been involved in the film business.
Actors, producers. We're very fortunate today to have a producer of a film.
Hey, are you a fan of history? If so, come for adventure with me, your host, Drew Darty, as we explore some of the most impactful events of all time. We talk about U.S. history. These events led up to the creation of the first Continental Congress, world history. The Allied forces consist of France, the United Kingdom, Russia, Japan, and Italy, and influential figures. The legacy of Martin Luther King is one of selflessness, and he never stopped believing in the equal and free America. You'll get my takes and opinions, so come along for adventure on Drew's Venture History TV. Check us out between your recently scheduled programming as well as on YouTube. Thank you.
Tigers fans, we are back, and it is the top of the 7th inning, and the Warriors are ahead 3-0. Wow, what a difficult 6th inning that was. It was all knotted up for 5 innings. Foxboro broke through for 3 in the top of the 6th, and Oliver Ames appearing to have had a double with 1 out, which turned into a fly out for the 2nd out as the umpire took what seemed to be a double and called it a foul ball. But again, always want to be careful. We're looking at high school athletics, and we're looking at people who are just trying to do their best, and so I don't want to be overly critical. I don't know if using the term egregious is overly critical. It might be, but at the same time, is certainly nothing personal. I do feel like that was a double, but can't go back and we can't change it now. So if you were a Tigers fan, you just hope that the OA can shut them down here in the top of the 7th, and you want to score 4 in the bottom and walk it off. We have a designated hitter for Oliver Ames, and that is Matt O'Keefe. He is a junior who is coming in for Anthony Rego. So O'Keefe in for Rego in the 8th part of the order, as the 8, 9, and 1 hitters will be up here in the top of the 7th. Curveball is in there, strike 2. Sade looking to close them out quickly here in the top of the 7th, and then OA needs to get to work on the offensive side of the ball. Here's a pitch. Strike 3 is the call as he swings right through it, and the pinch hitter is out for out number 1. Gordon, the pitcher, up next. He's had quite the afternoon on the hill, but he's 0 for 2 from the plate. So Sade looking to strike out the pitcher. Here's a pitch. In the dirt. Gordon digs in. Sade sets. And he deals. Strike 1. And Oliver Ames wanting to get this win today because it's needed to move up the standings. Here's a pitch. Just outside, 2-1. Again, this is the same Oliver Ames team that went toe-to-toe with Taunton last Thursday, the best team in the league. I have to fully believe that Oliver Ames can come back here. 2-1, 1 out. The pitch to Gordon, the pitcher. Swing and a miss. Strike 3 as Gordon sits down for the 2nd out, and Sade retires his 2nd in a row via strikeout. Mike Marcasella now is up. He's 1 for 3 this afternoon, and he represents the top of the order. No, that was strike 3. Okay. I think I made a mistake somewhere along the line, so the end result is he still struck out, and now Mike Marcasella is up. I don't know how I miscounted that, so I apologize to the viewers there. So you can't be too highly critical of the umpire when the play-by-play announcer can't get the balls and strikes correct. So we all got to know our lane, and stay in it. All things considered. So 2 outs. Marcasella is up. 3-0. Warriors up. Popped up and well out of play. Pickleball players scatter. And it is 0-1. Again, 2 outs. Other than the 3 runs that were scored in the top of the 6th, nobody's been able to put runs on the board this afternoon. Here's a pitch. Bouncer, that is foul. And Sade up 0-2. Be great to see him strike out the side here. Despite my poor counting of balls and strikes, we would love to see him get the strikeout and end the inning. Sade looks. Here's a pitch. That is going to be lined into center field for a base hit as Tommy Regan jumped and extended, but just over the reach of his glove. And that is a 2-out single for Mike Marcasella. That brings up Tom Watts. Now, Watts was instrumental back in the previous inning to start getting runners on board and moving around. He reached on an error, and then things kind of broke open after that. So he's still searching for his first hit, although he has crossed the plate as one of the 3 runs for Foxboro. Runner on first, 2 outs. Again, Tom Watts, one of the senior captains for Foxboro at the plate. Runner goes, and Drew Hall is not able to take the ball, and the runner's going to go around second, thinking about going towards third, but then playing a little bit of cat and mouse there with Drew Hall, but then backs up to second base. So that'll be a stolen base for Marcasella and a 2-0 count to Tom Watts. Runner now in scoring position, 2 outs, as Foxboro looks to pad their lead. Sade looks, pitches, grounder to second base, which takes a strange hop, but is still fielded cleanly and thrown to Burr for out number 3. Well, Oliver Ames has 3 outs to go, and they need to score 3 to keep this game going, or 4 to win it in walk-off fashion. And so whatever you do, make sure you don't turn that dial. We are going to broadcast to you the exciting ending of this game here from Frothingham, so stay with us. And again, if you haven't checked out already, make sure you vote in our Instagram poll on whether the word is gala or gala. I believe that I am ahead right now from 2 votes to none. Let's see how many people. I'm up to 3, so God bless you. All right, thank you so much for agreeing with me. Even if you don't like the call, at least you've agreed with me. Oh, thank you. Yeah, all right. So Susie Cusey, AJ Zamboni, 10, Lucas David, 14, 6, 22. You are on the right side of history. Thank you so much for that. And thank you for watching this afternoon on Easton Community Access Television. We're just volunteers, some of us are volunteers. We're just trying to do our best here this afternoon and bring you the OA baseball that we know that you love and want to provide that for you. Families, parents, players who watch after the game. We're thankful for all of you and thankful that you put up with a little bit of our shenanigans, particularly of my own, as I call play-by-play, something I always dreamed of when I was a child. And my dream could be your nightmare. I don't know what it is. You might be watching on mute. I don't know. But whatever you're doing, we're thankful that you've joined us here for this afternoon's game between Foxboro and Oliver Ames. Well, again, the time is running out for Oliver Ames as they have 3 more opportunities to be able to keep this game going. They're down by 3. They have only had 3 hits this afternoon, and Nolan Gordon has put on a clinic, and he's going to attempt to pitch a complete game as there is no one in backup for him. And so win, lose, or draw, this is going to be on the back of Nolan Gordon. 2 stars this afternoon, I would say, for Foxboro would be Nolan Gordon at the hill, but also Aiden Stowe, who had a couple of really, really great plays out in right field. Well, Drew Hall is up, the cleanup, batting first. You have Hall, Costello, and Burr, and this is right at the heart of the order. And so if there's an opportunity to get back in this game, these are the guys you want up at bat. First pitch in for a strike as Drew Hall digs back in. Watches it go for strike 2. Again, time is running out. Shadows are starting to come across the field. And Oliver Ames has only a few opportunities to get something going. Good take by Hall, and the count is 1-2. Again, the Warriors have an 8-5 record. Oliver Ames 5-9, but both have 4 wins in the Hockomock League. That's going to be hit to the third baseman, who is going to collect. He's going to clutch. He's going to throw, and that will be in time for out 1. Costello steps in next. He's 2 for 2 this afternoon, 2 singles. And you just got to get somebody on base here. You don't need to cut and try to win the game with 1 swing. You just need to get on board. First pitch hits the corner of the zone, 0-1. Gordon deals, drops into the zone for strike 2. And very quickly, Costello is behind in the count. Again, Tigers down by 3, bottom 7, very high, and that is a ball. One and 2. Burr's on deck. Burr's also had a hit this afternoon. Swing and a miss for strike 3 as Costello strikes out. And that leaves Oliver Ames down to its final out, and Henry Burr, who again has had a single this afternoon, but also struck out in the 4th. And Burr just needs to make contact and extend this game. Here's the first pitch. Outside from Gordon. 1-0. Gordon takes a breath. Here's the pitch. Fouled off. 1-1. Again, a pitcher's duel all afternoon with the exception of the top of the 6th. If Burr can get on board, A.J. Baroncelli will be next, and that is far, far out of the strike zone for ball 2. Here's a pitch. Low, ball 3. Good patience here from Burr. Again, you don't have to make contact. You don't have to try to swing for the fences. You just need to get on board. 3-1. 2 outs. Here's the offering from Gordon. Strike 2 called at the knees. It's a full count. Burr down to his final strike. 2 outs. Foxboro up by 3. Gordon looking to close it out with a complete game. Grounder to the shortstop. He is going to make the throw to first base, and that will be the ball game with the Foxboro Warriors beating your Oliver Ames Tigers this afternoon by a score of 3-0. Complete game from Nolan Gordon with the shutout, 3 strikeouts, and 3 hits on the afternoon. Great game from Gordon, and congratulations to the Foxboro Warriors. Well, the Tigers will be back in action at home on Wednesday afternoon against the Canton Bulldogs. Tune in at 3:45 for the first pitch. You can check eastoncat.org or our YouTube and Facebook pages for broadcast updates and channel assignments. Thanks to today's crew, Adam Carrero, a producer, engineer, Eric on the camera. This is Adam Rivero signing off from Worcester Field. Final score is Foxboro 3 and OA nothing. See you next time here on your home for Tigers baseball, Easton Community Access Television. Goodbye, everybody.
ECAT's production of OA Sports are provided by RevT. We simplify technology for better. Easton Lions Club, Morris Insurance, Doug King Bills Incorporated. ECAT would like to thank all the sponsors for the support of producing OA Sports.